Welcome back. Welcome back. God bless you for joining us back. Welcome back. Welcome back. God bless you for joining us back. God bless you. Happy Sunday to everyone. God bless you for coming back. Please tell a friend to tell a friend, say we don't come, okay? All of us going to learn today. We're gonna learn today. Please, I welcome everybody here in the name of the Father. I welcome everybody here in the name of the Father and the Son and of the Holy Spirit. Please be safe wherever you are watching me, okay? So I'm bringing my guests back, okay? Please tell everybody to come on this platform so that you guys can learn, okay? Tell everybody to come on this platform so that we all can learn, okay? Because we are here to expand our wisdom. We are here to speak within the border us who will know if you talk out. So my brother, please, one more time, tell us your name and where you're hailing us from, please, so that you can go ahead.
Okay, my name is Marcel. You can also know me as Marcel Cakes, the owner of Marcel Cakes, and I'm calling from Russia, Moscow. Okay, I believe before
that's what I'll be calling you.
That's the complete name, right? Say, we were interrupted though. Okay, maybe I should just throw a light due to what happened. I believe maybe some persons were not hearing some of the things I was saying. Briefly, I would say the issue of rape. One of the major factors that makes these men you see who are the culprits of these acts, they lack self-confidence. Confident men do not believe in rape. Having money does not mean you are confident. Being rich doesn't mean you're confident. Your confidence is inside of you. It's not something money can buy. There are rich people who are timid. So you find out if you look at rape cases, just look at the culprits. You always find out that there is something abnormal about them. They are the kind of men that you not that abnormal. Yeah, they seem abnormal. How will I put it now? They don't look like men with potentials. You get. There are people who they are opportunists that maybe they just find someone vulnerable to practice sex with, then they strike. Because a confident man will simply just walk and see a lady that he wants, approach the lady, and do the normal thing. You get. But when the man lacks self-confidence, that's when he starts thinking about this. Then I was pointing out something. In terms of crime, like one thing that we should always be mindful of is fear. People who lack confidence, they are the people who could do the unbelievable. That's the truth. I don't know if you've heard something like this before. Do you know an armed robber, for example? They come to rob you and they come with a gun. Do you know that those persons that holds the gun, they have more fear inside of them than you that is being faced the gun? Do you know that? Yes?
No, please go ahead, sir.
You are worried about it, but it's true. Just like because they themselves that holds the gun, they don't even know what's on your mind. You that has been faced the gun to, you know that any slight mistake, the bullet could touch your head or touch any part of your body. So you yourself, you are scared. But the person holding the gun to is also scared for his life because he knows that if he eventually loses that gun, he's going to be the victim. He knows that if he gets caught, he's going to be the victim. No longer him holding the gun. Now he loses the power. The power is just in the gun. Once he loses that gun, that's his power. So he lacks confidence. A confident thief is the one that will come to you bold, like with the punch and say, give me your thing. That is a confident thief. But the one that comes with gun is because he's not confident enough. So what am I saying? It's more like the power of fear. When the man starts doing things like that, let me say, start trying to rape a lady. And then that's why you see that sometimes they murder the persons, they murder the victims because they are afraid that the victims could raise alarm. They are afraid that the victims could go make a report. And because of that fear, they don't let them live. Maybe because of the fear, they might even end up killing the person. They'll be killing the lady because they don't want the lady to expose or they don't want to face the punishment of their crime. That's why you see that they do most of the victims you see, either they kill the victim or maybe they attempt to kill the victim just to make sure that punishment does not come to them as a result of fear. Then another thing, like you asked a question that why is it that it takes so long to speak out?
Mm-hmm.
This is also a thing of your self-confidence. Believe me, we talk about rape now today. There are so many guys out there that were molested at their tender age.
So many
Yes,
guys, Abi.
so many guys. Now, not about the
That is
ladies.
the truth. That is the truth. Ah, oh,
So
oh.
many guys out there
By the
who have
ladies,
been
so
molested
by our aunties.
by aunties, house help, even neighbors, and all of that. So many guys. They were timid, innocent. They don't even know what is happening to them. Before they tend to realize is maybe when they are of age. So tell me, maybe, for example, I am a victim of that, for example. Do you think I would want to come out now that I'm already all grown, maybe being successful, being popular, and then start talking about how I was molested? Of course, I would not want to. You get the point? But maybe when I see somebody creating the wave, maybe I see two persons coming out to protest or say, speak out that this thing happened to me, then I'll be like, okay, yes, let me join the group. You know one thing about we humans. I don't know if you've heard this context before, where they say maybe a group of persons gather together to pursue a goal, maybe to go to protest, or maybe like in school, go to knock in the lecturer's office. Lecturer will be like, okay, for
So
example,
how
your
far
class
now?
will go and knock. Yes, you will go with the crowd. You'll be like, hey, we're not going to agree, we're not going to agree. When you get there, by the time you knock the door, turn your back, my brother, you won't find anybody there. Do you understand?
Hmm.
So
You don't
everybody
give up.
wants that person that will stand. And then when that person stands, that is when you see them start
Wait
trooping
first when I
in.
see you.
Do you understand? So that is the reason why
Yes.
these victims do not really speak on time. Sometimes they feel if they talk about it, how would their friends see them? There are some guys that will find out that maybe their girlfriend was raped at a certain point in time. They start looking at them less of who they are. So the ladies will not want to speak.
Hmm.
There are some married men that they love their wives so much, but during their marriage, maybe armed robbers came to the house and then raped the wife. These men start seeing their wife different from who they are. And then it will look as if maybe it's even the lady's fault that she was raped. Of course, it's not the lady's fault, but the man starts seeing the lady less of who she really is. So for reasons like this, that is why you see that people do not want to speak. Fine, let's go to another aspect of it. Like it's more like a solution to this. It's the reason why it's been like that, especially in Africa, I would say. If you notice, rape issues are more in Africa. You hear about it more in Africa. That doesn't mean it doesn't happen anywhere else in the world. It happens, but it's at the minimum. In Africa, for example, surveillance in terms of security is very low. Over here in Moscow, of course, you see that everybody has a camera. If a lady
Yes.
in this building now complains that she was raped, of course we can refer back to the camera and see if really a man like this stepped into the building from a description. From the camera, we can easily tell that yes, this is a culprit. Then it can be caught. So maybe if a lady reports to the police that today that she was raped, there are facts to prove it. Compared to maybe in Africa when a lady complained that she was raped, how can you prove it?
Hmm.
You get the point. How can
I
you
said
prove
it
it?
before. Hmm.
Yes. So because of the surveil as in terms of security, the surveillance is so poor that even when you speak the truth without the facts, there is no point.
Hmm.
You could imagine, for example, talking about some issues lately. You see that people point out to celebrities and say celebrities really did this to them, did that to them. Let's be frank and sincere. Do you think they can really face the case if they get to court? The celebrities themselves, if really let me say, if really it happened. Sometimes the question they will ask is, okay, where are your facts? You that say you are the victim, where are your facts? Do you get the point? And even sometimes in these hotels, it's even now that maybe hotels are even modernizing. Maybe like 6 years ago, 7 years ago, you start seeing hotels with CCTVs, with CCTV cameras around. Do you understand? Way back, talking about 10 years ago, you don't find cameras in hotels now. So tell me, what are the ways that these ladies can really point out their facts?
Someone say even with your even with your
Evidence,
evidence in
evidence in
Nigeria, you
Nigeria.
know case.
You have no case. Yes, she has a point.
Ah,
She has a point too. Yeah, that's one thing. That's one thing. That's one thing. It's difficult. Okay, look at this case for example. Um, I think there's a popular case that happened. I don't want to mention names, but we know it was about a
Okay,
pastor. They
okay,
said,
mention them. Mention them. Natimisoko, I mean, who? Mention them.
okay, okay. For example, now there was I think there was this one trending about Timi Dakolo's wife. That was
Mm-hmm.
months back, and the pastor of
With
one
the
church. I can't
pastor,
remember
with
the
the
exact
pastor,
name.
yeah.
Yeah.
We all know the story. No
Okay.
need to hide.
You can imagine. Tell me this. This is something we need to really analyze. If that man if the pastor was not as popular as he is today, do you think his name would have been mentioned about the rape issue?
That is the problem. This is another problem we need to still ask. Why guests only accuse the rich one, celebrities?
Yeah.
They never accuse the poor man, all those things.
Yeah, the thing is this from my own point of view, I think it's more like a lady looks at it that if I speak out, maybe I find or I point out that this person raped me. This person is a nobody. What do I stand to gain? Nothing. Of course, they might feel like they should speak out, but really they will gain nothing from a poor man. But when the person is
Okay.
rich, they know that even if they come out to speak and they lose their self-confidence, they lose their personality in the public, they know that at least she can be compensated for whatever the crime might be. You get
Okay.
it? So that is the reason why they tend to
Or,
point
or,
out,
or, or, or she will get followers on Instagram.
yeah, she'll become popular, she'll be trending. So it's more like sometimes the truth is, instead of seeing it for the ladies, for the lady, instead of seeing it that speaking out should be the result of speaking out, you're looking at the prize, which is the reward. Either you become popular or maybe you get paid or compensated for it. If that is your reason for speaking out, then trust me, there is no need speaking out because the time has passed. I will advise you, if that is your reason why you are prompted to speak out, there's no need speaking out. If you really want to speak out, you should have spoken out even from that early stage. If you
Okay.
love yourself, the truth is this. I don't know if you know this. You know, when something is bothers your mind, the earlier you let it go, the better. The
Someone said
earlier you
because of
let
they need money.
yes, it's true. Okay, fine. If you need money and then you do that, and that's for you. But the truth is, the money cannot buy back your integrity. The money cannot
Okay.
buy back your self-confidence. You can only build your self-confidence yourself. Your self-development is dependent on you alone. So no matter the case you go, no matter the money you get paid for, your self-confidence, because the truth is, people will still see you that you spoke out simply because the person is rich. That is the
Okay.
truth. For me, if maybe I want to look at the ladies who speak out for rape issues and stuff, a lady that speaks out when anything happens to her as soon as possible, I tend to respect such ladies more than those who have kept it for years and waited for the person to become a millionaire before you start speaking.
Hold up, hold up, hold up. Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. My brother, God bless you. Go ahead.
So the rape thing, I think one thing that we need to do to minimize this for the ladies, men that you do not trust their personality, or they don't see their personality is not credible enough for you, never find yourself in a lone place with them.
Okay.
Just like maybe you know this man is he throws advances at you, or maybe he stares at you in one funny way or the other. Don't find yourself lonely with that man. Don't ever find yourself there. If you
Okay.
want to find yourself with people, do you know something? Like I said before, I said having money does not mean you have your self confidence. There are rich people that cannot even approach a woman. I don't know if you know that. There are rich guys here, like in the world today, that cannot even approach a woman. They don't even know how to toast a woman. They tend to talk to some of their broke friends around them. Please come talk easily for me and stuff. That is a sign of self
My
confidence.
brother, wait. My brother, wait. Please, every guy, I pray for you to have money. You shouldn't be a material to rich man to go and get a girl for them. Receive your money
Amen.
now. Receive your money now. Go ahead, my brother.
So that's just it. It's one of the okay. Fine. Let me go. Let me go with it again. First of all, the men should always try to build their self confidence. I heard about there was this video clip I came across on YouTube. It was more like talking about masturbation and the defect of masturbation, like the disadvantage of masturbation. The point was this that I got
Masturbation.
from, yeah, the point I got from it was that people who masturbate, those persons lack self-confidence.
Okay.
If those persons stop like staying under the shadows, they come out to the public, they seem more bold than being in the shadows. It's more like um, if you get your wealth from a questionable way, don't boast about it, because if you boast about it, it's questioned. People will like, oh, how did you get the money? Do you get the point?
Okay.
But when you make your wealth in a legitimate way, you can beat the chest anytime and say, this is how I make my wealth. Anytime, any day, and you are confident because you know how to make wealth. So that is how it applies to self-development. Always come out, express yourself. People, as in men who live in the shadows, they are the ones who carry out things like rape. Yes, because for me, I don't know. I'm not perfect. We're all human. Sometimes we are tempted beyond our control. But what makes you a man is for you to be able to conduct yourself even in the most difficult times. Sometimes lady talk about men and they say that men do think from down there. That's where a man's mind is. Sometimes yes, it's true. Men do think from down there, but that is if you let it control you. So a man with self-confidence know that instead of me raping this girl, I rather ask her, talk to her. If she wants, fine. If she doesn't want, then forget about it. Move to the next one. And that is how it's supposed to be. And in terms of Africa, I would say, because that is where these things always comes from, all this news of rape is because security is is something that how will I put it now, is so low. There are no means to prove facts. This rape we're talking about here that we see recently that is on the rise lately on the internet. We talk about it today because we see that there are some persons that don't even know about Facebook, don't even know about WhatsApp. Their stories are untold. Even as we talk right now, somewhere in the world, somebody is being raped. It's true.
Please stop that. Stop that. Wherever you're watching us now, if you are raping at the moment, please stop
It's
it.
true.
Oh.
It's true. The point is this. I think just like um just like we have movements for various agendas. I think if there's a movement for men too, building self-confidence, it's going to be a nice one that will help a whole lot of men from doing things like this. One thing I know a wise man, a wise man that knows about law, that knows about crime. It will, as in the fear of him committing a crime like rape, even no matter how tempted he is, that consciousness is always going to ring on his head. That because he's aware that these are the implications. Just like there was a time where I became friends with one of a very high police officer, ranked police officer, and then I think I came across this book that she was holding. It's more like crimes and how I put it now, crimes and the punishment to it. Man, I said when I started looking at this book, I was like, really? So crimes like this do they exist? Do you understand? So the truth is this: if you as a person you build yourself in terms of like your self confidence, knowing that doing or carrying out an act like rape could get you to jail for 14 years or even more. I mean, you will advise yourself. You won't find yourself carrying out crimes like that because you know that the 5 minutes
14 years.
pleasure.
14 years.
Sorry, go.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Oh.
So for me, I think I'm very sure that people do not know that things like okay, fine. That reminds me, there was this video I watched recently. It was a man. I think a man was like with his friends. I don't know. I think there were about 4 or 5 of them. He was talking about how he molested a 12-year-old girl. I don't know if you've seen that video before.
Yeah, I've seen that video.
You've seen the video. You could imagine a man is talking about it, like he's so talking about it that he saw this girl, that the girl was entering his eye, blah 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 blah. That man doesn't know that what he did is a crime. and he never knew that that is even an implication to his crime. I don't know if you understand what I'm
But
saying.
I later hear that in our Nigeria constitution, as from 11
Yeah,
years, girls can marry. Is it right, or because I'm just hearing that?
I don't think that's right. I don't know about that, but
But
for
no,
me,
no,
it's
they
not
say
right.
in Nigeria constitution, as from
Yeah.
11 years, you can get married or start having sex. I don't know how truth is that. Do you understand? Please, if you know, please, if you are
Mm.
watching us, if in our Nigeria constitution is from 11 years, girls can start having sex or start getting married. Please let us know, okay? So that you know that man said that girl is 12 years. So I don't know. I don't know.
But the truth is this: for me, if I find my daughter, 12 years, even 15 years, being molested by a man, I'm sure that man's going to pay for it, as he's going to pay for it with his life. That's the truth.
No, no,
Definitely,
that
he's
one
going to
goes
rot.
pay for it. Either in die for jail or the government will just.
That's the fact. So the thing is this: um, there's a part of the
Someone say
Bible
no
that
from 18 years. Okay, okay.
18 years. Okay, there's a part of the Bible that I always put in my daily activities with people, which is I think I connected the word that let every man be treated according to what his conduct deserves.
Hmm.
So it means that it means that if I behave like Mr. A, treat me like Mr. A. If I behave like Mr. B, treat me like Mr. B.
Someone say I saw it on Google from 11 years. Okay, okay.
From 11 years. Ah, so that's a bad one. We'll come to that though. For I think that word is a simple context. Let every man be treated according to what his conduct deserves. It means that for me, if I see you today, it's how you behave that I treat you, that I associate with you. So for the ladies, you see some guys or some persons that you know they have questionable characters. You know that this person does not have self-control when it comes to maybe issues matters with women and men. Don't ever find yourself in their midst alone. Do you understand? Don't ever find yourself in their midst alone, because if you find yourself in their midst alone, you have placed yourself in a, as in, how will I put it now? You just put yourself at the center of a trap where you know that anything could happen. It's only by the grace of God that maybe you might be able to escape that. Just like you find yourself with a man that you know he has rape tendencies in him, and then you find yourself in him, and something happens today, you start saying tomorrow that the person raped you. Come on, you need to help yourself. If you know that, yes, like we hear about this topic, it's very easy to talk about it, but it's more difficult to experience it. Do you understand? It's more difficult. Like I can't imagine the trauma that rape can put in a woman. There are some ladies today that they don't even like sex. They don't even like men.
Good
The
morning.
reason is
Okay.
because they were once abused at a certain point of their life.
Hmm.
Yes, it's true. And there are some ladies that today they cannot even stay for a day without sex, simply because the trauma, like trauma is something that if you affect, as in it's something that's an incident that occurs to you that is beyond your comprehension, beyond your mind,
With
beyond
banana
what your
skin.
mind can handle, and then it triggers to you for example, you see this glass cup, for example. Normally with your sane mind, you know this is a glass cup, but when something bad that causes a trauma happens to you, you you see the glass beyond the glass. You see it differently. Your approach towards seeing things and life is different. That's why you find people depressed. There are some persons who have been depressed for a very long time in their life simply because they were abused or molested at a certain point of their life.
Hmm.
It's a
Go
very
ahead. Go
very it's
ahead.
a very very serious it's a very very serious issue. Rape, for me, rape is more like murder, because not
Mother.
everybody you see walking, yeah, it's more like murder. The reason why it said so is because it kills the heart of the person. It's more like, for a woman's pride is um she's able to come out and say, yeah, this is who I am, both in and out, this is how she is. But she protects her personality as her pride. So when that pride is broken, the gate is broken, she doesn't see herself more like, she sees herself less or worse than what she actually is. Like I said, there are people today who have been raped years ago. Talking about, like, I mean, like over like 10 years ago, 15 years ago. that rape as in it has a very strong impact in the way they behave today.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's true. Like I've once met a lady who she asked strange, and then I was like, are you a virgin? She said no, that she's not a virgin. I was not wondering why is she acting in this manner? Why is she acting in this manner? But guess what? I actually spoke to someone about it. The person was like, ask that lady. Maybe at a certain point, like maybe she was molested. Guess what? I did ask the question, but that is the truth. She was molested. She was raped. The first
Hmm.
guy she had a relationship with raped her. She wasn't ready for it. She was a virgin. The person raped her, and that's you could imagine what happened years ago. So what I'm saying right now, I believe so. There are some ladies who have experienced something like this. Yes, it's true. That is why they are acting the way they are acting today. And sometimes the guy will be like, this girl acting so weird. It's not because she's weird from birth. It's simply because of what she has experienced. There are some girls they act tougher than they are supposed to act. There are some girls they just build this big fence and blockage around themselves. They just dislike men. They just see men as monsters. It's because of things like this. So this concept of rape is more like the rapist has killed the morale of that person.
Hmm.
Something that happened years ago. You could imagine people are saying, why did it take so long for them to speak out? Imagine somebody talking about rape that happened 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Why are they talking about it? Why did they forget it? It's because of the impact that that thing has done in their life. So it's a very, very, very serious concept. It's a very serious concept. It's something that we shouldn't overlook. It's something we shouldn't overlook. And it's diminishing to see that even some men still brag about it, like, as in they brag about it, like, why would they get dressed like this? How the lady dress is not an excuse. Just the way the lady dressed inappropriate. You too, you should dress your heart in the appropriate way, so you won't be seen or you won't be tempted by what you are saying. I think there's a part of the Bible that says sin starts from the heart. It's not from your heart. You've already committed the sin from your heart. It means that for you to have it in mind and then you want to exhibit it, it means you've committed the sin twice. So seeing how the lady dresses, fine, it's true that it has an impact. It has a very serious impact, but it's not an excuse to rape.
This is my sister keeps saying jobless is a sin. I don't really know.
Yeah,
Okay, my
joblessness.
brother,
Yeah, true, true. Yeah,
my
she's
brother,
right.
my brother, as in someone has a question now, I just see that comment say, why wouldn't they forget it? As in, why they no go fit forget what happened, how they was raped in 10 years back, 15 years back. Why they no go fit forget them?
Okay, like I said before, okay, let me explain in this way. Do you know rape is as deep as a cut in your hand or a mark? See, rape, that concept of rape, the victims is so deep that it leaves a scar somewhere in their body. Yes, rape is so deep. Like I said there are some guys, of course, that were molested at an early stage. Some persons were like, but it's true. There are so many guys. Even
Hold
now
on
they are
first.
growing.
In 1 week time, in 14 days, on 14, 12, we will open fully, full force. Club Dubai, we are coming back. Club Dubai, we are coming back in a week time. So guys, get ready to pump into action. Go ahead, my brother.
Okay, I think I'm even saying something here. Somebody said, why people abroad not the rape? Okay.
Brother, do you know why? Here, weather is very cold.
Okay.
Who put that comment there? Who put that comment there?
I
Go
think I'm
ahead, my
saying it.
brother. Answer them why, please.
Okay. Like I said, if I think I already talked about this. I said in terms of security abroad and in Africa are not the same.
Okay.
In your house today, in your building, there are cameras everywhere. My house, safe.
Camera day everywhere.
Even for me, so even till now, I'm still counting the cameras in my building. I never even knew. I never knew that after the lifter, there's a camera before I enter my house. I saw it recently, and I've been staying here for months. I never knew there's a camera by the side of my building. Not there's a camera at the front, there's a camera at the side, there's a camera before you enter the lift. So imagine something like that now. Maybe a lady staying in this my apartment, for example, and a guy walks in, raped the girl. Maybe the girl screamed or called the police after a few minutes. There are so many evidence to prove. The person was caught on camera that yes, truly somebody entered this building. Do you get?
Okay.
And the fact is, if you see a man who just committed a crime, you can tell from his face. Even though, like, if you are suspicious that a crime happened here, for example, and you see somebody is walking towards you, the person looks suspicious. Of course, you will see some signs. It's going to act abnormal. So even from the camera, you can tell from body language that this person has done a bad thing. Which is another way to prove that yes, what the lady is saying is true.
Okay.
But in Nigeria or in another part of the world, in Africa, sorry, I shouldn't say a part of the world, in Africa, how many buildings have cameras?
But that's the fact now. Let's just say the fact. How many, not be even building. How many streets have camera in Africa? I mean, not just say building. Cities? How many streets have a camera?
That's the fact.
You know?
So when you Africa, so by the time you start saying by the time you start saying all these things, how can you prove it? So these are the reasons why it doesn't happen. Though it happens here, but that's why it's at the minimum, because people know that when something like that happens,
it's little.
Yeah, very little.
Hear the case of rape.
Yeah, that's the fact. So people do know, even for me now, knowing that there are cameras everywhere, there's some things I wouldn't want to do outside, knowing that I'm being watched. Do you understand? So that is the reason why. So I don't think there's another thing to say about that again. Somebody said about joblessness. That is true. The Bible said that an idle mind is the devil's workshop. That's true. You know, we are humans, and nobody is perfect. The human mind has to be busy. That is the truth. There's some persons that can just sit down, they fantasize for the whole day. There's some persons that plan, oh, I need to. Yes, it's true. But the fact that if you find your heart idle, you find your body itself idle, your brain idle. Okay. The next thing that comes to your mind, you are giving room for the devil to do whatever he wants to do with your mind.
Okay. My brother, I will call you Cake Man because you be academic cake. You've been doing a magician with your hand. So, my brother, let's go into your business now, into the topic with you today. So, please, tell us more about yourself and what you do, please. Let people know who you be.
Okay. Like I said, my name is Marcel. I'm in Nigeria. Marcel Cakes. Okay. Marcel Cakes. Yeah, I'm a Nigerian from Imo State. Imo State.
You're from Imo State. Okay.
Yeah, from Imo State. But I was born in Warri, born and raised in Warri.
You were born in Warri? Oh,
yes.
Warri people.
In the area. So I was born and raised in Warri. I studied and I studied in Warri as well. Studied in Abraka as well too. Political science and class of 2015.
Abraka, political science. Big shout out to Abraka University for yes, doing this man to be who he is today. Go ahead.
Okay. My business that I do today is more like you said, it's a joblessness. The idle mind is the devil's workshop. I should say is just my personality. I would say, like right from when I was very little, my dad told me this story. Just because sometimes I do remember some of all these things. He told me that when I was born, when I started working like as a child, he said I never stay one place. That's how he describes me. He said I never stay one place, which means that if they put me here now, I will move around the house. I'm looking for things to. Sometimes even the remote in the house, I will open the remote, fix, like destroy it and build it back. So I always want something to do. I want something to either something to play with, or I need to have something to do. So my dad always do something to me. If he's leaving the house, he will give me something to do, maybe an assignment, or he will give me something to draw because my dad can draw. He's an artist as well. So everybody in the house, my elder one. Yeah, he's a big shout out to him. He's a big man. He's a very good man, I would say. He taught everybody. He didn't really teach everybody how to draw, but he has the ability to draw. And he was like, okay, fine, take this, draw this. So he give me an assignment to draw and paint till he comes back, which of course he was very busy. but he makes sure that it gives me some one or two things to do every single day before he leaves the house. Otherwise, if I don't have anything doing, it's either I will go fix the remote, or maybe by the time I see that it's coming back, I'll leave it halfway, which means that the remote is destroyed. So a lot of things, though, a lot of things. So my dad as well, he's an engineer and he's a baker as well, he's a businessman. He's a businessman, so he knows how to bake. So it's more like this baking thing is more like it's a family thing. I would say it's a family thing. Some of us use it for business till today, but some of us just have it inside of us as skills. Okay. So some of us use it as skills. But for me, I learned how to do that because growing up, I go to our bakery. I know how to make bread. I know how to make cakes and stuff like that. But on a normal, I never practiced it on my own. I never practiced on my own.
Did you go for the school of making all these things you mentioned?
No. The fact is, my grandfather has a bakery. My grandfather has a bakery till today. That is still functioning till today. My father has a bakery that is functioning till today. I have a cousin brother that has a bakery that is functioning till today, and I have a uncle that has a bakery functioning.
No, my guy mess. So my guy just mess here. My brother, my brain.
So that's where I learned most of the things. Do you understand? I also have an auntie that she's a caterer. Okay, she's a specialist when it comes to cake and cake designing and everything, like event planning. So she's actually the one that made me learn more. And then it was more like, Marcel, come and do this thing. Because I know that a lot of people in the house.
I know what the name who mess. Go ahead, my brother.
Because I know she was one of the, how I put down, she has a lot of persons in her house. If you're working with her, you stay with her. She has a very big apartment in Ejeba, Warri. So if you're working with her, she gives you, in fact, automatically you are staying with her because she has a lot of jobs all the time. So me being in her place most of the time, someone is calling me on Facebook, on Snapchat. Please, guys, please. It's more like she would say, Marcel, come and do this. For me, it's more like I'm more like an adventurer, I would say. So if I start doing those things, I hate being in a place for too long. I hate being idle. So by the time I start doing one thing, it's boring. You tell me to mix for this particular cake, I'm done mixing. You ask me to mix another one again. So I find it boring. I'll be like, I'll be auntie, I'm tired. But meanwhile, while I was acting that way, acting abdamant, I was learning. You understand? I was learning. I made sure that the thing.
Go ahead.
Sorry, someone keeps calling me. I don't know why on Snapchat. So
please stop calling this man. Please stop calling this man. He's on session now. Please go ahead.
Okay. So it's more like these things. I learned to do these things right from when I was still very young. So as we grow up, maybe like we have birthdays. Maybe myself, my sister, my cousins. So we go ahead and we bake. There's this picture I have. I think I posted it some time ago. Like that should be like 2009 when I was baking. I was baking and designing cake 2009. So it's more like I just started doing those things on my own like that. But the truth is this: they say this what this lady said now. She said joblessness is the reason for all this. Yeah. So I always find myself.
Joblessness is the thing.
Yeah, I always find myself learning skills. If I'm not learning skills, maybe I'm learning something that's to do with my intellect. I'm always trying to learn. I always want to do everything. That's the fact. I always try to do everything. If you don't find me baking cakes, and one of the reasons why I tend to have an advantage, like in terms of creativity, is because I can draw. I can draw very well. I can do a portrait of you.
You can also draw.
Yeah, I also draw. Like I said I'm an adventurer. I hate being idle. I hate to be bored with things. So I always want to find myself doing something or another. So that was why I applied the painting and drawing skills into baking of cake and designing. So apart from knowing how to bake, get good taste out of the cake, I also use those skills to apply on the cake as well. So that's why you see those beautiful designs that you see today. So I think that's that's what I have to say.
And one thing I like about your cake, the way you design it, you make it look mature, you make it look more designing, very neat. As in,
yeah.
How did you like? How many years now you have been doing this? Your cake of because
Um,
this is a job you have. You don't stress yourself. You just your
yeah.
talent. Let us say it's your how many years ago? How many years now?
Ah.
How long should go that meaning?
I would say it's been long. I don't know, Sha. I don't know, but I know I was born into it.
Okay, you
I
was
was
born into
born.
it.
Yes, I was
Okay.
born into it. Like I was born knowing that we have a bakery in our compound. Our family house is here, and the bakery is just share. It's the same building. Just I've just placed the gate, so I can just step down from the house, go to the bakery. I know how to do all those things. So I always see things that have to do with baking. Like I told somebody someday, I was like, "Do you know my dad can call me today on video call? He will find me baking a cake, for example. From the video call, you can look at my cake. He'll be like, he can tell me,
Someone say, can I come and learn from you?
please, not now, not now, not at this time,
Go
not at
ahead,
this
go
time.
ahead. No,
But
we'll go into
uh,
that. Go ahead.
okay, I told somebody I was like, my dad, he can look at my cake from the video call. Maybe my cake has a defect or maybe something happened to the cake. He can tell me what happened to my cake from the video call. I told somebody, the person was like, it's a lie, but somebody witnessed it someday. Somebody in my house witnessed it. My dad was like, oh, you didn't put enough of this. My dad told me one day that the oven, you didn't put it at the right temperature through the video
Okay.
call. So that's to let you know
Wow.
how good he is when it comes
So
to baking.
even till now, you still call your dad
No,
if you want to ask him
probably,
for anything.
maybe I might be baking when he calls. Do you understand? It's not as if maybe I call him.
Okay.
I don't call him to ask him about anything about baking. No, maybe he might just call me today when I'm baking or when I'm designing the cake. He might just see the cake. He'll be like, oh, you're working. I'll say yes, I'm working. So okay, let me see what you're doing. I will show him. We say the oven was not at the right temperature, so he can tell. That's the man that I know
Big shout
that.
out to your dad, man. Big shout out to that man. That man is a hustler, man. And he's
Yes,
doing
yes,
wonderful work. Go ahead.
it's great. Like I would say is my inspiration. The reason is because 99% of the things I do today I learned from him. The only thing I didn't learn from him
99%.
is,
Okay.
yeah, 99%. The only thing I didn't learn from him is computers because during his time computers were not advanced like this. So I had to learn how to build computer, how to do softwares and hardware. Like I do computers. I even like I had a business in Nigeria where I sell phones, laptops. So I sell those things, but I need to know what I sell. You understand? So for me to be able to be a good marketer, I need to know the content of what I sell. So I know how to build a computer, I know how to fix and all of that. So and that idea I got it from my dad because my dad knows about baking. He has a bakery. He's an engineer. He has a bakery. But my dad can build an oven. He builds oven. He has a company where he builds ovens. Like bakery oven, if you want gas oven, if you want wood oven, electric oven, he builds them. He has a company that builds those things. So
Wow. Even this man. Oh, hey. Go
so
ahead. Go ahead.
so you could imagine like this is something he knows that his major business is bakery. So maybe when there is a problem with the oven, he doesn't have to call anybody. He can tell, okay, someone is even mentioning my his bakery's name. Sorry, thank you. I saw it. Somebody on Facebook. I was so it's more like uh, when when I saw for me, it took me a while to really understand all the things that it does and why it does them. So when I understood this, I saw that fine, you make bread, you have a bakery. The things you use in your bakery are things like you need an oven, which is a very vital thing, and you need machines to function in your bakery. So what if these machines are bad? What if something goes wrong? Does he have to call somebody to come? What if the person doesn't come on time? So even if he calls somebody, but at least he can detect the problem by himself. He knows what to
Okay.
do. So it's more like maybe I'm a driver. I can't be a driver and I don't know about the engine.
Okay.
Do you understand? So
That is
I saw that concept from him, and that's why I was like, okay, fine. Since this man does these things, let me too learn some other things that concerns my job. You understand? So you could imagine because of the fun that I bake cakes now and design cakes, I had to learn photography.
photography too.
Yeah, I have to learn photography.
This man, how many jobs do you do, sir? What is the hold
I
up,
don't
hold up.
think
Go ahead, go ahead.
I have to learn photography too, to the point that I even have studio lights in my house now. I have studio lights that I use because there was this time I think that was 2018. I called one of my friend. I was like, bro, he's a photographer in Nigeria. It does is it has his name is Superman Concept on Instagram. He's a good photographer.
Supermark, super
Superman
waiting.
Concept. Superman Concept.
Superman concept. Okay.
Yeah, he's very good
Please,
at the
no,
job.
if you have enough time, my brother,
Yeah.
relax, okay? Go
Okay.
ahead.
So I called him. I was like, bro, what's up? Like, see, there are some people's page I look at, like foreign, like I see some white people's page that present cake. There's a way their picture look. They look so advanced. They look so better. It's more like the pictures I snap doesn't really show the beauty of the cake. How can I do this? Should I be sending you pictures to edit for me? I can be paying for it. I think I was like, Marcel, I don't understand because I know him from Nigeria. I was like, I don't understand. I'm like, come on, do it for me now. He said no. He said, Marcel, you're good with computers. He said, go and do it yourself. He said, what you need to do, go and buy um a good phone that uses it has a good phone that has a good camera. I was like, no, no, okay, fine. What camera do you use? Let me buy the camera and use it for myself. He said, no, he said you don't need to get camera. He said, what you need to know is you need to know how to use the camera you have available. He said, but just buy a good phone. He said, you know about phones now, you know about computers. Get it, get this software. This is what you used to do. This is what you do. Maybe at times you call me, I will tell you how to edit the photos. That is what he told me. So it's more like I can use a camera that is not so good to get a photo, and I know how to edit the photos to make it look natural. The
Okay.
thing is this because his photos always look natural. For me, I liked it because sometimes I see some cakes, some pictures of some cakes, and then it looks beautiful, fine, but it doesn't look natural. So I have to learn how to edit so it will look natural. Sometimes I do practice with people in my house. I just take them photos. Like my friends, sometimes I do take them photos, use studio light and everything, take them photos, and I will edit the photos. And they'll be like, wow. Seriously, if I send you some photos, I'm not sure you agree with me that I took those photos with a normal phone camera. But because of the fact that I learned how to use them, and that's how I was able to get those results. So it's more like due to the fact that I do cakes, I had to learn how to use cameras to how to edit, and sometimes create some adverts and stuff. I need to learn. Though I'm not good with editing anymore. Like I know that it's been long. Microsoft editing has transformed to a new level right now. That video editing now is now on a new stage. You understand? But I still try to do these things myself. So it's more like instead of looking for people to pay for those services, I tend to use it for myself, and that's why I'm still trying to grow right now.
Hmm. That's why you're making all the money on yourself. Only you. You don't pay for any cameraman. You don't pay. It's a nice one, though.
No.
So my brother, how do our people now? Because so many of us in Moscow here, in Russia now, so many of us want to start working. So many of us want to start doing something. So with this your platform you have now, waiting be the thing where they your mind where you want offer to your people where they in Moscow where they live here in Russia. How you go take
Okay.
give us the help, make us to get something doing because so many of our guests, so many of our guys want to work. So with this your platform now, please give us some lighting how you can help us.
Okay. The thing is this. It's never too late. It's never too late for anybody. That's the truth. Um, I always tell people close to me that at every single opportunity you have, use it to learn something.
Okay.
Use it to learn something. I know the spare time I have, I know what I use it to learn. I learned piano. My dad plays piano, but he didn't teach me how to play piano. I learned on my own. I learned on my own because um, I had the time, I had the piano at my disposal, so I had to learn how to play. It's more like first thing first is this um, talking about people that want something to do to fetch money and all of that.
People that want
For
to
you,
do this, as in people that want to do this your business, that want to start designing cake, that want to start making cake bread, short bread, please go
okay,
ahead.
I will just say something before I speak about that. I will just say something. Um, if you want to be successful, don't follow the crowd after the wave. Go with the wave.
Don't follow the crowd after the wave.
Yes, it's more like um, okay. Let me explain what I mean by that. It's more like many of us have so many abilities that we don't even know we don't even know we have those abilities. Do you
Okay.
understand? So for example, it's more like maybe I see that people, so many persons are doing this. and this guy is making money, this guy making money. I won't look at the money that the person is getting to say, oh, I want to learn this and become like this person. Because the truth is, you never can tell the sacrifices that person made to get to that point.
Okay.
That's number one. And number two, if you really want to be successful in anything you are doing, create the wave, which means that be among the first to start that thing.
Okay. Be among the first that will
Yeah,
start that.
be among the first to start that thing. Do you know that if I start talking about some business ideas right now, some person will be like, oh, 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 oh. But those things, there are markets, there are some ideas that I have in mind, but I can't do it all. Do you understand? There are so many business ideas that people that I see. I know Russia is a good marketplace. That is true. It's a good marketplace. There are so many business ideas, so many opportunities that people just look and look like, it's nothing. I believe there was a point where I started baking
Please
cake
tell us
here.
the business. I beg you.
I think if you want to find out, I think you can inbox me and we'll talk about those things.
No, not me will inbox you because please, okay, guys, please, if you want to, if you want to do any business or if you want someone to encourage you for any business, please inbox this your man. Please tell us your social media handle, please, so that everyone
Okay.
should go there
Okay.
now and follow you.
So you can follow me, Marcel Cakes, Marcel
Marcel
underscore
K.
Cakes.
Okay, load this
Yeah,
down.
I'll comment there. So I don't know if I can pin it there, but Zubby, I think you can do that for me. Uh, Marcel underscore Cakes. I don't think I
Okay,
can pin it there.
is it only this handle you have? You're not on Facebook. You're not on any.
With this handle, this name, you can find me on Snapchat, on Instagram, on Facebook. But on Facebook, just go with Marcel. You'll find me with just Marcel on Facebook.
Okay, Marcel.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. Okay. So the thing is this: it's more like if you really want to be successful in a particular line, you have to be among the wave. For example, there's a business trend, like talking about YouTube, for example. One of the reasons why I don't put too much effort, I have a YouTube channel, but why I don't put too much effort on YouTube is because I'm not among the wave. I'm just following the wave. There are people who started YouTube at a time where it's more like there are so many things, there are so many ways to make money from YouTube. There are so many things that we don't even talk about on YouTube. So many things to talk about on YouTube. So many things that people talk about them, but they are not so popular on YouTube. So if you start up YouTube with such ideas, such areas, aspects of videos, you are among the wave. You are the one creating the wave. It's more like maybe right now, is there a black person manufacturing phones in Russia? No. For example, I start manufacturing phone. I will set the standard myself. If I tell you the phone is 20,000 rubles, that's the price. There is no competition.
okay,
I set the wave myself. So maybe when two, three persons come in, yes, no problem. But the truth is this: even after 3 years, when 10 persons come in, 20 persons come in, the truth is that those 20 persons will just be getting the scrubs out of the business. The people that have made it are those who started it. So that is why when you have an idea, from how early it is, start utilizing it.
okay. This is another word though.
Yeah,
Please, guys, I hope you guys are listening for what he's saying. He's saying a lot of points here. Be the first people to start something. Huh.
yeah. You don't
Go
have
ahead.
to wait. Like so many persons see me, you say, "Ah, Marcel, you're making money and stuff." I just laugh because the truth is this: if it's just cake, I'm sure I won't be smiling like this. That is the truth. But it's more like I have to learn other things. I do so many things that I don't even talk about. So many things that people do not even know me for. I do business in Nigeria. I do a whole lot of things, and it makes me restless. I don't. If I tell you how many hours I sleep a day, you won't believe. Like talking to you right now, I haven't slept for the past 48 hours. Like I've been working, I haven't slept for the past 48
Wow.
hours. If you look behind me there, you see a cake there, and I see how.
Can we see the sample of the cake where you do now? Just show us.
No, the owner haven't gotten the cake right now. Okay, that's why.
Okay, okay, it's a surprise.
You're surprised, yeah. So there's a cake there that I worked throughout the night till this morning. I was trying to sleep and I couldn't sleep. So I just ended up doing other things, editing on my computer, and then checking other things that I do. The point is this: always be among the first to start something. If you're among the first, before people go come in, you don't already make all the millions inside,
Okay.
and then you've made the name. It's more like in business. the most trending name, as in the most how will I put it now? The name that has been existing for long tend to have more power than those coming up. Those coming up, you are trying to measure up to that name. But those who have been in it before is already known. So it's more like if that person maintains his or her legacy, you are still there, you are still there, or better still, you are moving higher. Why those that come in, you try to look at it, try to compete, but you don't know that that person has already made the money out of it. He's just doing it to maintain the legacy. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. So that's how it is when it comes to business. I see many persons talk to me. I'll be like, I want to link, I want to link it. I'll be like, see, what are you think? You think okay, see maybe there are millions in the cake? Of course not. It's not like that.
My brother, please, I have to come in on this one now. Please teach them. Forget whether
Okay.
they want to make capeg. Teach them.
Yes,
Maybe
it's
maybe
true.
they can. Maybe they may not use it here. Maybe any other
Yes,
place they will
somewhere
go.
else.
It will help them.
Mhm.
You know, that's why handwork is very very good. Please, anybody that say my brother I want to learn, please, I'm
Yeah,
begging you
of
on this
course.
platform
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
Yeah?
yeah, yeah.
Especially, wait, my brother, especially our people here in Moscow, Russia. Okay? Especially our
The
people
truth
here
is
in Moscow,
this.
Russia. Anyone that say, my brother, I want to learn, please be kindly to teach them, please. They can never take you away from the business. You know that one.
Yeah, I don't know. Someone is trying to call me on Facebook again. I interrupted.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now better. Okay. Um,
So I say, please, anyone that come to you that say, my brother, I
yeah.
want to learn how to bake, I want to learn how to make cake, please be
Okay.
kindly to let them, as in to enlighten them, to let them know how to do it. Because in this country now, you know how it is now.
Yes, I
Everybody needs
understand.
something to be doing. And
Yeah.
with this your
True.
platform now, you can
Yeah.
create many jobs for people. You
That's
not
true.
only even black, we can even be doing cake. Russian people
Yeah.
there. We have Russians here. We haven't even entered
Okay.
themselves. So many of them will
The
do.
truth is
You
this. The truth
understand?
is this. Now it might sound strange. Uh, there's somebody in Moscow. Okay, fine. Let me know it's Moscow. Someone in Russia who makes cake as well. And uh, the truth is that I gave tips to the person. The person was with me at a certain time. I gave tips. Bishop called the person called me and said, see, Marcel, I used that thing you taught me, blah 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 blah, and then it's working so fine. Thank you so much, blah blah. It's true. That's one. And I've had this person that some person chat me on phone. They'll be like, I want to learn. Okay, how much does it cost to learn? There's one thing about me. I don't put money first in everything I do. That's the truth. I tend to look for the greater goal. It's more like I can't sell my talent. Rather, I will use it myself. Do you understand? So I don't sell my
Kid
talent.
say I want to learn from you. Kid, please send me a message and also send him a message, okay?
Okay. Yeah, of course. There's so many persons who have written me on various platforms saying they want to learn. Even people from Germany, some persons in even today, some persons in Nigeria wrote me today that they want to learn, and I'll be like, okay, yes, I'm coming to Nigeria soon. I'm already making plans for a school for it in Nigeria, like training center for it in Nigeria. And I spoke to my person was like, okay, how much do I teach? How much will it cost?
My
How much will
brother,
it
my
cost?
brother, my brother, wait. Sorry to cut
Okay,
you short, please. Before you
okay.
start this thing in Nigeria, please, you go first start them for here first now. No be
I
here
know
you
now.
be.
Yes, I know what you're talking about. I understand. Let me tell you now.
You
Okay,
go
fine.
first start them here first. From here
There are
now,
some
go
things
Nigeria,
that
go do your
there are
own.
some things that I don't want to say, but fine. Let me just go ahead and say it because fine, you're pressuring me to say those things. Okay, fine. Um, you might think maybe I haven't started teaching anybody, but that's not true. I've taught a couple of persons, which of course one of them was like, okay, bros, how much is it? I said, okay, pay so and so amount. That person was like, okay, I was like, okay, no problem. Pay like this. Which of course, if I tell you the amount, even compared to Nigeria, it's way cheaper. It's not an issue. Do you know what I did? The person came. I saw the seriousness in that person at that early stage. The person came. The person was like, okay, bro. So I said, don't worry. I was like, see, you know what? He said what? That was the first person that started teaching. I was like, you know what? He said what? I said, you know what? Don't pay. I told her, I said, don't pay.
Don't
I said, if
pay.
you feel, yeah, I said, if you feel like saying thank you, it's your call. If you feel like not saying thank you, it's your call. It's left for you. You get the point. So I was like, okay, you need to get this. You need to get this. You need to get this. She bought a couple of those things. Do you understand? And she started coming after some time, but there was an issue that occurred, which of course was more like how this town is like now when it comes to relationship and all of that. I don't want to say much. You know how this town
Relationship.
is like. Yes, now for I mean, like, I don't want to be mentioning names, but the person in particular,